Have you ever heard a guy say things like, "After all I've done for her," or "What have I not done for her?" These words are for novices who don't know how to play a tight game when in love. And when it comes to relationships and dating, knowing what not to do is just as important as knowing what to do. So, buddy, sit tight as I take you through the things that you should never do for a woman. Let her guilt trip you. When it comes to being in love, one of the things that you should never do is let her guilt trip you. Picture this. You just received your paycheck for the month, and suddenly she begins to make unrealistic demands. If you can't meet these demands, she'll say things like, "You're not treating me right," or "Bella's boyfriend gets her nice stuff all the time, but you get me nothing." Well, buddy, don't fall for the gimmicks. Stand your ground. And letting a lady guilt trip you into making uncomfortable decisions is only going to end in tears, both for yourself and for her. So be a man whose words mean something. Learn to say no, and stand by it regardless. Carry your purse while shopping. Yes, we know you want to be the sweetest partner out there, but don't go ahead degrading yourself in the process. When you're out shopping with her, she should learn to hold her purse herself. I'm not saying you shouldn't help when she genuinely needs help. She's all struggling over there with 12 bags and you're just like, "I could not carry a purse." Don't be that guy. All I'm saying is don't be a sissy. You are out in the mall shopping for groceries, and she tries to hand you her purse while you're pushing the cart so that she can pick irrelevant things up and make you pay for them. Or maybe pay for them herself. It is 2023, but whatever. Say no to her and express your displeasure. If she refuses to change, you might as well walk out of that relationship. Start fights in public. Some girls can be genuinely annoying. Most of them want to get you pissed, right? And it's just so they can see how you would react. Well, in all that you do, buddy, never start fights in public. Why shouldn't you unleash your anger when she makes derogatory statements while you're on a date? Why shouldn't you, right? Well, doing so signifies a lack of emotional intelligence, and being seen as an emotionally unintelligent guy does not help your image in any way. So, bud, when she makes you pissed in a public setting, walk away. Address the same thing in a more private space. Picking fights in places filled with people isn't worth it, and as a guy who deserves respect, never do that because of a girl. Forget who's important. You meet a new girl and you make your whole life about her. You aren't wrong for doing that. She's great. However, don't forget the people present before you met her. Don't forget the ones who fed you while you were in diapers. Don't forget those who pulled you out when you were stuck financially. Don't forget those who helped you secure a job and move into that fantastic apartment. If I should be so bold and so humble as to make a guess, it'd be that all those people who helped you at that phase of your life are not the girl you're currently madly in love with. So, bud, remember where you're coming from and the people who helped you to get where you are now, and you give them the appropriate respect. Learn to appreciate them every now and then. And don't be a sissy by allowing your relationship to get in the way between you and them. Financially ruin yourself to impress her. Some days back, I watched a movie centered on two main characters. It's a businessman named Adele and a celebrity named Diana. Adele was the type that never backed out of a challenge, and he saw being in a relationship with Diana as a challenge. Adele would do everything to impress her, taking her on expensive dates, getting her expensive jewelry, making her comfortable, even at his own expense. Yes, Adele's company was going bankrupt, and all that mattered to him was getting Diana to become his. Well, did he get the girl? Yeah, he did. But the relationship didn't last very long as he lost his business while chasing her. Dude, when it comes to the dating game, don't make financial decisions that are gonna crumble you. If a girl genuinely loves you, she's gonna be with you regardless of your financial state, and if she won't be, not the girl you're looking for. Pay for her education. Can you get her through school without feeling any financial discomfort? Can you let her go after investing in her education without feeling hurt or suicidal? If your answers to these mind-boggling questions are affirmative, then you can, by all means, pay for her tuition. However, if your responses are in any way negative, then, dude, never consider seeing her through school. We're all humans, and we're all bound to change with time. She might like you now, but end up falling in love with someone else later. What if that happens after you've invested everything to educate her? It's pretty bad, right? Well, among the things that you should never do for a woman, seeing her through school is definitely one of them. Never do it, dude. Never commit crimes to meet her needs. This one, it kind of goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it. We've heard so many dudes who took on a life of crime just to impress a shawty, to take her on expensive trips and give her a life that most dudes could never give her. Some took to robbery, others took to selling drugs. However, they all ended the same way, dead or in prison. As a guy, never take a life of crime just to impress her. Trust me, not worth it. If you're deeply in love with that damsel and she ain't feeling the same because she considers you a low-income earner, then take your mind off her, because she's gonna move on to the next available guy with a flashy ride or a beautiful apartment when the reward for your crimes come knocking on the door. Give up on your ambition. Girls want a supportive partner who always cheers them on regardless of whether they're succeeding or failing. Buddy, go ahead and be that person. However, don't give up on your ambition in the process. You might think you're making sacrifices for her, but in reality, you are being fooled. No girl wants a failure for a partner. No one wants to become a failure just to see her succeed. Nobody wants any of this. Picture this. You're in a race with someone that you genuinely care about, and along the line, she drops down due to fatigue. Which do you think she would have preferred you to do for her? Encourage her to complete the race while running alongside her? Or give her strength while dropping out to cheer her on by the sidewalks? I guess you probably prefer the former. So buddy, prioritize your ambitions while pushing her to do better at the same time. Disrespect your parents. We've seen cases where parents might disapprove of certain relationships. This happens quite often, and knowing how to handle such situations differentiates the pros from the novices in dating. Buddy, no matter how crazy you are about her, never disrespect your parents or members of your family for her sake. Before you met her, you knew your family. Now imagine that relationship doesn't pan out the way that you planned it to. You're gonna have your parents and loved ones to fall back on, or at least you're gonna want them. And I'm not saying that you should end your relationship because your parents disapprove. Every girl wants a man to fight for her regardless of the situation. However, while you're fighting for her, don't disrespect your parents or make their opinions feel irrelevant, as they may be seeing things love has prevented you from seeing. They might be right. See other people's opinions as irrelevant. Aside from not disrespecting your parents for her sake, try not to conclude other people's opinions about her are irrelevant. Yeah, such statements might end up being more speculations. However, there could be an iota of truth in it. A friend tells you about seeing your girl in the club with another guy or during a pep talk. A few friends tell you how they feel that your girl isn't trustworthy. Instead of listening and trying to clarify things, you end up saying their opinion doesn't matter in your relationship. Oh, buddy, you need no soothsayer to let you know that you're heading for doom. Consider no one's opinion as irrelevant until you clarify things. Changing yourself. We know relationships are all about compromise, but do you think changing yourself for her sake is worth it? Well, in a lot of cases, I don't think so, at least big ones. Being more cleanly, having better hygiene, that stuff's fine, sure. But never let a woman make you become somebody that you're not. If you feel comfortable in dreads, don't let a woman be the reason you start rocking low cuts. If you're a Netflix and chill kind of person, don't start frequenting places for her sake. Yeah, make compromises when they're necessary, but don't become a whole new person because she wants you to. Too nice. Yeah, that's the reason why I got rejected by a girl. I always let her have her way. I was always there for her, even when she didn't deserve it. Even when she ignored me, I'd keep texting her. It's too much for her. Interestingly, she broke things up by saying she doesn't think she deserves such kindness from a dude. Yeah, women will say anything to get a nice man off their backs. Simply put, women don't want a simp just as much as your inner self doesn't want it. It's degrading and it doesn't command respect. Women generally like powerful men who can command respect. They'll interpret your niceness as a lack of assertiveness or confidence. One research showed that women are more attracted to men who exhibit confidence and assertiveness, even if they're not always nice. So don't ever fall for the trick that women want men who always pamper them. Wrong. They have the mother instincts, so they're the ones who want to do the pampering. Being too needy and emotional. Now, as a rule of thumb, you shouldn't do anything excessively when it comes to women. Don't be too nice, don't be too bossy, and don't be too needy and emotional. A woman can feel overwhelmed and suffocated when you get too clingy or constantly demand attention. You have to realize that a woman needs a protector, not a crybaby. They desire a partner who's tough, confident, and emotionally connected. Be a handyman who can make her laugh, and she will hand you the keys to her heart. Now, you've probably heard that women like to have heart-to-heart discussions. Well, you better make sure she's doing most of the talking, or else you risk turning her off or running her away, or at least doing an even share of talking. However, you must also remember that she doesn't want a robot. So if it's really about striking the right balance, you only need to show enough emotion to be human, but don't cross over too much to being a baby. Being too available. So you hit her up on Monday for an evening dinner and she says no, saying she's busy without offering another date. Later, she went out with Michael that same night, who later used her and dumped her. Now, desperate for a shoulder to cry on, she calls you on Saturday for lunch and you happily accept. You guys meet up and she just drones on about all the things Michael did to her and how he's such a monster. Now you think you have a chance. Well, the only way you have a chance is if she doesn't ever meet a real man again, because from the moment you happily accepted her invite, you friend-zoned yourself. When a man is always at a woman's beck and call, elevating her to a pedestal, it often sends a signal of desperation and a lack of confidence. Women are naturally drawn to men who are self-assured and lead fulfilling lives. If you continually seek to please her, it can convey neediness and clinginess. A man should maintain his individual life and allocate time to his partner without being overly available. These do's and don'ts are there for men, not boys. Chapter 1. Be adaptable. Alright, this is key. No two women are alike. You can't use the same playbook for every woman you meet. That is not how it works. Be adaptable. Stay on your toes. Learn to read her signals, her body language, her vibe. What works with one woman might be an entire disaster with another. Don't just try a move and expect it to work every time. Pay attention to how she's responding. If she's pulling back, maybe you're coming on too strong. If she looks bored, then maybe you need to step up your game. It's all about staying flexible and receptive. Being adaptable shows that you're not just some robotic pickup artist. It shows her that you're a human being who can actually connect to her on somewhat of a real level. Chapter 2. Don't compare her to other women. Now, for the love of all things holy, do not compare her to other women. Just don't. It's just a turnoff. It's a relationship killer. You want to make her feel unique, special, appreciated for who she is, not like she's just another notch on your bedpost. Comparison suggests that you're still hung up on your past, or worse, that you view women as interchangeable. Show her some respect. If you can't do that, then you've got bigger problems than just trying to turn a woman on. Chapter 3. Don't. Being desperate or needy. If you're carrying around that stink of desperation, I got news for you. You ain't fooling anybody. The ladies can smell that from a mile away. We all have needs. We all want connection, affection, and yes, of course, sex. That is being human. But there is a world of difference between wanting these things and needing them to feel okay about yourself. Clinginess, needy behavior, that is not attractive. It's pathetic. It is a clear signal that you are not comfortable in your own skin. You don't feel complete by yourself. You're seeking validation from somebody else, and guess what? That's not her job. She wants a partner. An equal, not some project she needs to fix. Desperation manifests itself in many ways. Perhaps you're too quick to respond to her text. You're always available. You shower her with excessive compliments. You're willing to change your plans at the drop of a hat for her. You might think you're being attentive, but you're not. You're telegraphing a lack of self-worth, and that's bad. So here's the deal. You want to be attractive to women? Well, start by being okay with yourself. By yourself. Know your worth. Have a life that you enjoy, independent of any woman. Pursue your interests, have friends, have passions. Let life be full and interesting. That makes you interesting. And don't try and hide your desperation behind any kind of indifference. That is just another form of neediness, and it is just as transparent. You want to know the real secret to attracting women? Be somebody who has something to offer. And I'm not talking about offering your desperation. Offer your presence, your passion, your ambition, your authentic self. Chapter 4. Do. Maintain strong eye contact. Now pay close attention here, because this ain't a game. Eye contact is not some trick that you pull out of your pocket when you want to look interesting. It is a sign of respect, dominance, and interest. It's a silent communicator, and it's not just about holding a gaze. It is about how you do it. Staring blankly like a deranged psychopath will get you nowhere, dude. Not at all. You need to master the art of confident, engaging eye contact. You ever heard of smiling with your eyes? That's what I'm talking about. It's a nonverbal cue that you're present, that you are genuinely interested in the person that you're talking to. And let me be clear, do not flutter your eyelashes or go all soft and puppy-eyed. No, keep it strong, maintain that intensity, but keep it relaxed. There is a difference between an intense gaze and a death stare. When she talks, your eyes should be locked onto hers, not in an obsessive way, but just to show her that you care, you are giving full attention, that you find what she's saying important. And when you talk, your eyes should tell the same story your words do. And here's a pro tip, learn a triangle technique. You shift your gaze from one eye to another, and then to her mouth and back to her eyes again. This creates a sense of intimacy and sexual tension, my friend. But use this sparingly and wisely. But here's a word of caution, don't make it a staring contest, that is creepy. Break eye contact every now and then, but make sure it's always you who breaks it first. And when you do it slowly, intentionally, not like you're trying to dodge a bullet. Strong eye contact is a sign of a man who knows his worth, who's confident, assertive, and comfortable. So, next time you catch yourself looking at your shoes or scanning the room while talking to a woman, remember this. You are a man, and men don't shy away from holding a gaze, they own it. Chapter 5. Don't ignore her boundaries. Don't you dare trample over a woman's boundaries. It's not just disrespectful, it's pathetic. A real man knows when to take charge and when to step back. And you gotta believe me, ignoring a woman's boundaries is not a show of strength or dominance. It is a flashing neon sign that screams insecurity and desperation. If she says no or stop, you stop. That's it. Full stop. No arguments, no buts. Don't say anything, just say, "Oh, okay." It doesn't matter if it's the middle of a conversation, a date, or even an intimate moment. When she sets a boundary, you respect it. Period. No woman is attracted to a man who can't respect her autonomy. But here's the catch. Respecting boundaries doesn't mean you become a doormat. You need to respect and understand her personal space without feeling like it's all about you. It's not. This isn't a gray area, my guy. It's black and white. And trust me, if you can't understand this, you're no man. Chapter 6. Do. Demonstrate dominance in a respectful way. Now let's talk about dominance. Not the 50 Shades of Grey kind. The manly kind. And no, they're absolutely not the same thing. Being dominant is not about bossing people around or showing how macho you are. It is about holding your own, asserting your opinions, taking the lead, all while respecting others. When it comes to turning a woman on, this is crucial. Let's put this into context. You're on a date. Take charge, make decisions, but ensure that she is comfortable with them. Don't just be a jerk who decides everything without even considering her. Suggest, do not dictate. Lead, do not bulldoze. When you're interacting with her, show confidence. Be assertive, but always respect her space. Don't invade that personal bubble. Don't touch her without clear, unambiguous consent. Not necessarily verbal, but, if she's actually feeling it. Be a good judge of character, a good vibe judger, if you will. It's not that hard to understand. You can show dominance by the way that you handle yourself in a group, how you lead a conversation, how you respond to challenges, even by how you walk into a room. Show that you are in control, but you're not controlling. And trust me, when you strike that balance, the results are powerful. A man who's dominant yet respectful is like a magnet to women. Chapter 7. Don't brag or show off. This is so important. If you think bragging about your car, your job, or gym routine is going to turn a woman on, you're wrong. So painfully wrong. Flaunting your material wealth or achievements does not make you attractive. It makes you a peacock, and a pretty boring, tiresome one. A man who attracts women authentically does not need to broadcast his worth. His actions speak louder than his words. Do you honestly believe a woman is going to be turned on because you drive a flashy car or have a fat bank account? If you do, I have news for you. You are chasing the wrong kind of woman. They're out there, but Not the kind of woman you probably want. Instead, be humble. Let your character, your confidence, your charisma do the talking. Be the man who impresses her with his intellect, his wit, and his respect for her. Not the guy who can't shut up about his latest toys or conquests. The things that you should never do for her sake have been demystified to make you become a pro at dating. So please don't ignore them, work on them, and see yourself become that dude who ladies love and respect.